All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the JK But Gay Show. We are so excited to be back because this is our first episode, just us.
Just us.
Last week we had our season premiere, which was with our husbands, we had a lot of great reaction to that. So thank you, everybody who sort of watched and joined. We have a lot in store this season, but today we wanted to talk about standards, and not standards like the music or like the orchestra, but
What is?
Oh, yeah. You don't know what standards is?
No.
I think
Is that a song?
I think it's like instrumental.
Oh.
Anyway, someone put it in the comments, but anyway, not standards. We're talking about standards today, as in the standards that we have
for ourselves.
We have for ourselves, and the standards that the gay community has in general. Because I feel like there are a lot of standards and expectations. But yeah, so that's what we'll be talking about today. But how are you, Jake?
I'm doing good. My leg hurts, but other than that, no complaints.
Is it hurting like right now?
Not right now.
Oh,
It'll literally come in waves. Like
you realize, is it your right leg?
Yeah.
You realize you're doing the worst thing you can do with the T-band.
Probably.
You have to cross it. So that happened to me last year with our seats. The exact same injury happened to me with our seats.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
And then
just
you got
like
me
woke
these
up.
nice seats, and I'm
Right,
good now.
now we're like
But you were on a
comfy.
roller coaster, right? That's what happened?
Yes, yesterday. I'm assuming it happened yesterday.
Yeah.
While I was at Six Flags, while I was at an amusement park.
Oh yeah, they sponsoring it. But they don't know what Six Flags are a lot.
Right. oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which one's like the deciding like location.
What you mean?
Like ours is Fiesta, Texas.
Ah, okay.
And then the other one's like Dallas is
Yeah, but Six Flags over Texas. That was the
over
point.
Texas. Yeah.
Were they the original? Is that why it's like that? Anyway, I'll ask.
I don't know.
Who? A source.
But how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's cold outside. I'm dressed like a hoe.
I love the weather. I love the cold though.
I love the cold too, but I wasn't gonna wear pants in here. But then you're wearing pants. You're never in pants.
I'm never in pants.
This always happens. Every time I'm like, oh, I have to wear shorts because Jake's gonna wear shorts.
I could have gave you a pair of pants. I'm ready. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
You got a belt too? Well, good. So let's now that we've broken the ice, had our own little icebreaker. I wanted to start to talk about like standards, because I feel like you and I have a lot of standards that we put on ourselves. I think I've gotten a little bit better. Not that you haven't, but I just think
Mine's just there.
I think yours are like, I think you're harder on yourself than I am, if that makes sense.
Yes, and I agree.
But how much of that is associated with you being same-sex preferenced? Can we not say gay on the show anymore?
All of a sudden, we can't say that word.
JK, but same-sex preference.
I think it is a lot to do with it, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think like as it relates to one being gay, the whole like being in the closet and being accepted and being like, whether it's family or like being liked, I guess in general, of like being okay, like having gay be okay, just because like society tells us otherwise, which I'm like, whatever. Or I've gotten to that point of whatever.
I'm like, you better be at whatever, we started a whole show about it.
Yeah, but I wasn't always. And I think like also like my coming out story with my family and like how I went through some trials and tribulations myself, I think that also added to the pressure of like wanting to be the best or like wanting to be accepted or wanting to do what's right or wanting to like be a perfectionist in and of itself, because there was nothing I could do, or being gay was out of my complete control. It was like I was attracted to this type of individual, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And I think growing up, it was always like, what can I control, or what can I do better, or what can I do to make sure that I am liked, because I don't have control over that other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge control person. Like I'm controlling, and not that sounds really bad, but
No, they can go watch all the first season. You can try to back check it right now, but all they have to do is watch season 1.
that is true.
And
I
understand
did say that. I did say like I'm controlling, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about the jealousy.
Yes.
Remember? See?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember?
Yes. I think that's why I'm so hard on myself now, just because. I mean, growing up, it was always like, do you get A's? Are you getting A's? Like all A's.
Mm-hmm.
If I got a B, I'd be like, I never got a B like in grade school as into college, but like even during progress reports, my mom would be like, why is this grade lower now?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's not the same stuff that we're learning over and over again, mother.
Yeah.
Like it's new shit.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, well, you need to get it to an A before the report card comes out.
You're like,
And so I always had that standard of like doing the best.
Yeah.
And that like has bled into like literally every aspect of my life now.
so it came from there. Obviously, if you've seen season 1,
I
you
definitely
know.
think so, yeah.
Yeah, it came from
I
growing
kind of
up.
know so because my therapist is like, There it is.
Like I spoke to a professional.
Right.
She's like, that took a whole 3 minutes.
She's like, this is our first time we're meeting,
Right.
and I already know your
Right.
diagnosis. But what about you? Do you think that there's a connection between?
I don't know, because my parents, they had expectations of me and had like a standard, but it wasn't overbearing, and it wasn't a pressure that felt impossible. I think with school, I was a little bit misunderstood, right? Because like with school, it was like I talk about this in season 1, but with school, it was like, why are you procrastinating so much? You're so smart. What are you doing? Why are you being like this? And it turns out that it was the ADHD.
Right.
But I think as I got older, I used it as like a game, right? I think as someone with ADHD, you sort of gamify your life. You know this. I mean, about me, like I gamify my entire life, right? Like I'm always tracking things and figuring out, even with the show, I'm figuring out how can we do better? What are ways we can do it? There's a gamification of everything. And I think that's what I did. I think that's what I do with my life. Yeah. But it's not really like a standard. I think that I'm more interested in the way the community talks about standards and the way that we see standards and how they're so different. Because for me, a question I had for you is like, do you have standards, or is it just pressure that you're putting on yourself?
Ooh. What's
the difference?
Oh my God. Oh my baby. Yeah. I think my standards create the pressure for myself. Like I'm constantly having to be the best or do the best and everything that comes my way. But I put that standard on myself as far as like, this is what I need to do. Yeah. And then that internally creates the pressure that I need to maintain whatever it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I don't mean this in like a funny way, but that sounds exhausting. I promise I don't mean that in a funny way, but it's like, it sounds exhausting.
You're like,
a bitch needs a nap.
The amount of naps that I take, I'm a napper. But also, when my head hits the pillow at night, like I fall asleep quick. Yeah. And I think it's because I'm constantly thinking about every little thing that I do, and whether it was like up to par with what I wanted to do or whatever it is.
Everything.
It could be work related. It could be people related.
Where does it show up the most? I think I know this answer, and I think if they saw season 1, they'd know this answer. But I just want to know:
my body? I think, or like,
I have a question on that.
Yeah,
because you're a fitty girl now, but you weren't really when I met you. No. So how did you do it before? You just ran a lot, huh?
I ran. Every day.
Yeah.
I ran every day. And then, I mean, growing up.
You still do, girl? I was like, why are you running? Where was it, Sunday?
Monday.
Hopefully I can tell this story. It's not a bad story. I'm just like, I was like, you're like, I didn't work out today, so I'm going to go run. And I was like, oh, he's going to go on a little jog. My watch goes off and it's 5 miles. I'm like, what's wrong with you? 5 miles?
That was. I forgot I told you that
You can take that off if you don't want to.
No, I think that's fine. Because I was having a day.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Does that make you feel better?
Running usually does.
Okay.
Yeah. For whatever reason.
At least you have your thing. A lot of people use a lot of things that aren't healthy.
Yeah, no, that's true. And recently, I don't know what I really don't know what it is. I feel like recently it's been a little bit worse.
Mine too, I told you.
I know, and I don't understand why it's happening to me.
I'm getting emotional. Not my GERD coming out right now because I've never had GERD before. Maybe it's like your GERD's been sitting on you and it's just coming over here.
GERD needs to get the fuck away.
For those of you who don't know, GERD is Jake's inner saboteur. Yes. If you watch the first season, I don't really have an inner saboteur. She came out recently. I don't know her name, but she's coming out. But I think it's the start of the season, and I don't know if you remember, but in the expectations that I had for myself in the first season, I got like really stressed out when the season came out. Remember how I told you how I would get these headaches? It started again today.
No.
I know. So at this time I have the better tools. I'm like knowing what to do. But remember my ring started showing that I was stressed 7 hours a day.
I kid you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Not to change. I'm not on that same note. On what's today? Saturday. On 2 days ago.
When we released?
Oh my. I didn't even fucking put 2 and 2 together until literally right now.
Yeah, girl.
I woke up and it's like minor strains. And I'm like, I feel perfect.
Yeah.
I went throughout the day and I was like, what is wrong?
I feel like you're better at the after stress though. The way that the show works and the way that we produce the show, your stress is until we press play. From now until the moment that the episode comes out is your stress. And then from that moment on is my stress.
Gert loves to go back and forth.
I was going to say, the fact that she's extending. Look at Gert, growth.
No.
Gross.
Gert's what we want to smash.
Yeah.
We want her to shrink.
Yeah, yeah, but so it is the expectations that you put on yourself. Like,
Yeah.
do you
But
in your body? You said this is the hardest.
I think body, and then also just like, we're talking about standards.
Yeah, that's the name of the episode.
I think in my head I was like, are we talking about stress or standards right now?
Well, because the stress comes from the standards.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think also like, and it happened recently where like not contemplate. When I talk to other people, after I talk to them, I will
Let's review our
replay
mistakes.
literally all the time. Whether it's something that we talk on the show, whether it's something I do at work,
Yeah.
meeting new people, everything.
What about with me? Do you do that with me? Do you repeat your conversations that you had with me?
Yes.
Every conversation?
Not every
Like
conversation.
the show makes sense.
The show I do all the time.
Yeah.
Like every time, ever since the first one. I know I told you about that. Like when I went to the Broadway afterwards, and I was like, I couldn't even pay attention to the fucking show.
Did that happen last week?
It did. Yeah. But it's gotten better to where I just like think about it, and I'm like, okay, like I said that, I said this, you know, Roger said this, you said that, your husband said this. But like early on, it was like I would take a little piece of what I said, and then I would like literally repeat that in my head. You know when it happened last week?
Oh.
When I couldn't explain the question. But it's
What's your favorite song?
but like
was it had time passed enough for that joke that I sent you?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was literally that day.
Yeah.
And then like the next the next 24 hours. And then like after that I was like, okay, whatever.
So those of you who don't know, who are watching, basically
Yeah.
Jake cut off a piece of the episode, and it wasn't a lot. It was probably like what 2 minutes,
2-3 minutes. Yeah.
But Jake was asking a question, but he just couldn't it wasn't phrasing it right.
Yeah, like the way I asked it didn't come off like hearing it, I was like, oh yeah, I fucked that up. Like I was like, I wouldn't even understand that. And then when I was like afterwards, it was like I could have said it like this. I could have said it like this. I could have said it like that's what happens to me.
I probably need that. I just be saying shit.
But I mean that's good too. Like because sometimes I just want to like say shit, but then my mind's like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
And then I regret not saying anything.
Yeah, I guess you have to find that. It's a level of discernment.
Yeah.
But on me though.
I have done it with you quite often.
Recently.
I do it with a lot of people.
Recently. I guess here's my problem.
Yes.
I'm equating it to your comfort level with me, and it has nothing to do with that, right?
Oh, okay. So I would say don't equate that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm understanding the error in my ways.
Yeah. Because it has nothing to do with my comfort level.
Right.
Like with you, like I can text you random shit, and like I mean I did it today. I don't know if no one responded because we were all texting, but like I can say whatever I want, and I'm just like okay, whatever. But there are times I don't know if you saw that text when I was like I'll stand behind you at Topgolf.
Yeah, I did. Did I say something to it?
I don't know.
No, because I was gonna make a joke, and I just why I didn't respond.
But it was also
I was gonna say así con la patito. He said he's gonna stand behind me at Topgolf. We're talking a lot in code. We have to stop.
Yeah, yeah. Because we're gonna go to Topgolf later tonight. But I was saying like I have got. For those of y'all that don't know, I used to be a golfer, and so like I understand.
Jake likes to go because he likes to like feel better about himself, so he'll like go and watch us all kind of.
It's the one thing that I do better than everybody else in my group.
There are probably a few other things you could name that you do better than all of us, but we're gonna keep.
We're not talking in code anymore.
We're gonna talk.
But don't say that.
No, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so it does happen with me.
Yeah, and it's more of like It's definitely
you're putting that standard on yourself.
Yes, it's not a comfort on like how I feel with you because you're probably the most comfortable I'm with, like you, my husband, and your husband.
Yeah,
but it's more of like, did I say what I wanted to say in the way I said it, or like it's usually just like, why am I doing this to myself?
I'm really proud of you though because you have a show, like and you edit it.
Oh no,
like you could be sitting there for hours and you are really good at it and really fast.
Yeah,
you're like, joke's on me. It's happening. Every week,
I'm just like crying while I'm editing.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pick this camera.
But does it have no? Because it's like you're almost like motorized, right? Like you're just trying to get to the task.
Yes. As far as like the editing, yeah. Usually I'm just like I want to do it, and I'm usually as far as when I am editing, I'm looking at who is talking.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily I'm listening to what is being said, and it's more of just like okay, I'm talking, so I'm gonna put it on me. We're having a conversation, so it's both of us, or like I'll just like switch it randomly sometimes. But it's usually like a constant daily thing that I do, even especially at work too. But
Yeah.
I think that's more a little bit more like the professionalism part of me, whereas like as if that wasn't exhausting, the professionalism part of me is like adds another layer to it.
Right.
Of like, did
Well,
I
because
say it
that-
right? Did I do it right?
That's where your money comes from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
I'm curious, like, I feel like that happens with me. But
you're
what
like,
about
your
you?
turn, spill it out.
Do you have like, because I know you said earlier, like we both have high standards for ourselves, specifically, or like with the show and like everything. I mean, in life in general. But
I've learned that they're my standards. So I think that's probably why I'm not as hard on myself. Because I'm not comparing myself so much.
Yeah.
Then as much as I am just sort of like, these are things that I want to aim for. And I'm also really
Okay.
good at feeling sorry for myself. So,
Wait,
so I'm
what
like,
do you
you're fine.
mean?
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm making a good joke. I'm partially kidding. What I mean by that is that I'm really good at saying, you know what, but this week was just hard. Or this
Okay,
task that you're doing,
yeah.
like
You-
I've learned along the way through lots of therapy how to be kind to myself.
you give yourself much more grace.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, I need to learn to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. It takes a lot. Like I said, it takes a lot of therapy and like
Yeah.
learning to. But I think it's funny. I think we're all sort of talking to that 8-year-old, right? That we that experienced whatever, right? That we felt, and so
like
that's
start
how I
crying.
had to learn. That's what my therapist taught me was that think about the 8-year-old and think about how you would talk to that 8-year-old. I didn't mean to turn that, but think about how you would talk to that 8-year-old. Would you
Yeah.
give that 8-year-old grace and
Oh yeah, all the time.
And so
I mean, I feel like I do it now.
And so that's how my boy would do it. But you're not, because you're not connecting the two. You have to, that 8-year-old is you.
I know. Oh, because it's like when I see it with my nephews, I do it to my nephews, but then like I have a hard time being like, I was once like that.
You're like, this is dumb. I'm not 8 no more.
I'm like, I'm fucking 33. The fuck am I gonna do with an 8-year-old myself? Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you're truly enjoying the episode. This is just a reminder, please subscribe, like, and comment below if you are watching on YouTube, as well as Spotify and Apple. And you can follow us on all social media platforms. We're at JKButGay. Also, for any of our San Antonio listeners, if you can please nominate us for Best Podcast with the SA Current, you're able to vote once daily up until early May, and we would greatly appreciate it. And we're so excited for everything that we have in store for season 2. But for now, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, so we talked a lot about us. Me.
we had to take a break.
We did take a little break. But
It's authentic.
It was.
It's authentic for us to say, like, hang on, we have really busy lives. We don't get to see
Yeah.
each other. We see each other when we're recording, but
Yeah.
sometimes we like need the time to like catch up. That's why we're like, hang on, let's
Yeah.
pause that real quick so that you can understand what this context is and we can maneuver it to the other direction.
Yes. But with that, I'm curious as far as like, what do you think about the standards within the gay community? Because I feel like there's a lot.
It's really interesting because I feel like gays have really high standards, but then
Yes.
they end up like in the gutter. In the gutter. Like, I'm like, I thought you had
Like
really
them
high
as-
standards. What is going on?
Like them as individuals?
Everybody. No, not the people, but I'm talking about the things that they put up with.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, but everybody puts
Like,
up
what'll
on
take-
different things and has different standards and how
Yeah.
they like. And one thing that I wanted to bring up, did I answer your question?
Yes. No, yeah. Because it's all about like, I mean, the gym, going to the gym, looking fit.
Oh, let's start there,
like,
though.
Like I think all of those standards of like the body image component.
Do you feel that standard in the gay community? Like, do you feel like because you're gay, there's a standard, it becomes even more pressure?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like within the, which is weird because I feel like sometimes as gay individuals like love a dad bod, but then they want the shredded
No.
bod.
You love a dad bod, but you want a shredded body. That's you. Every time I see those
I do
memes,
love a
I'm like, that is
dad
Jake.
bod. I
That
do
is
love a dad
Jake.
bod.
You would love because I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Or I find like dad bods attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
But if you had one, you would.
I would KMS.
Yeah. If you don't know what that means, don't look it
my
up.
God, I can't believe I just said that. I'm a Gen Zer.
Yeah.
But what were we gonna say as far as like within the gay community?
So last week we talked a little bit about how gays are oftentimes called brothers, or that we're like, do you think? But I had someone because we had people comment on social media and say say like, yeah, but why do gays do that? Why do they choose someone who looks like them? I'm like, but they don't look alike. Like that I was talking about y'all.
Right.
But it was like, do we judge based on compatibility or because they're similar to us? But to me, I'm like, if they're similar to us, aren't we compatible?
Right.
But then does that make me vain?
Like if they look like us, then we're compatible?
No, because I feel like, yeah, I think that makes you vain. But the part about like you having common interests and things that align and same values, I think that's a little bit different.
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
But I also like I'm trying to compare it to like the straight world. But I feel like cuz I've heard it before where they're like, "Oh yeah, you just like as if a guy if someone's talking to like the husband, they're like, "Oh yeah, you just like married your mom."
Or of a guy that, I mean,
Or a woman like marrying her dad because like that's what they're used to.
right.
And growing up and like that's what their just their
And
environment.
gays don't do that?
No, I think I'm saying like
I think
it's a
gays are
standard-
their mother, so
I
they
think
don't.
it's a standard across the board that like because I feel like when people say like why are gays doing that or like why do they date people that look like them, it's like it happens all the fucking it happens all the time.
Yeah. Oh, with straight people? I'm confused.
Like as far as like like I think it's just like the way you grow up.
Okay.
You're like used to a certain thing or like you're used to specific like whether it's traditions or like values, morals and things of that nature. And it just so happens that sometimes they do look alike.
And on standards, though, I think there are certain standards that like align, right? Those are the things that align where you're like, I have to have it this way or it has to be that way.
Yeah.
And I think those are the things that make us align. But I don't know. I thought that was interesting because a lot of people say that about gays, that we date people who
look like us.
Look like us. And but I also don't think I look like my partner. But people, if I tell someone else, they're like, yeah, y'all do look alike.
No.
Right. Like, I think because we know each other.
This is true.
Because people say that about you and Roger. And I don't, But I'm like, I don't think you look like at all.
Right. But I think like you're right. Once you get to know those people or like get to know a couple, you're like, oh no, clearly like they don't look alike.
Yeah.
But get to know us then.
On that though,
don't call us brothers.
When it comes to standards, gays are like they have like these sort of impossible standards. I like to call them impossible standards, but we talked about it like we put them on ourselves, right? Do you think people have made being picky a personality?
Being picky?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I did not think no. Oh.
It's different because you and I are not picky.
Right. But I do feel like
we're married to people who have picky personalities.
Now that I think about it, I think sometimes people do make it.
Yeah.
But it's more like I don't think our husbands do it to an exhaustive amount.
Oh, no, because we're impatient.
We'd be like, no.
Right.
But I do think that sometimes people like they fall into that trap where they're like, oh, this is me. This is my personality. Take it.
I've talked about it before. I've said this before, but gays, there are a lot of pick me in the gay community, right? Everybody wants to be different. Everybody wants to, and I think that's where it comes from. I think it comes from people wanting to be picky so that they appear unique. But no, you're just annoying.
You're not.
You're annoying.
Like, and I don't know, like.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to think like if being picky I mean there's definitely a difference between knowing what you want and then being picky. Do you agree?
I agree.
And I feel like when people reach that picky part, they never get back to the like I just know what I want, but they use that.
Right. It
uses
as a clutch.
Oh, no, it's just like I just know what I want. But it's like
well, that was the point of the comfort. That's like where we are, right? With standards, right? Is it a standard or is it just are you being sort of like overly picky about certain things?
I think so. I think we're talking about like individuals, like dating. Mm-hmm. What was the question again?
No. It was a rhetorical question. Like I was like, just saying in general. Like I feel like people don't know that. That's another thing too. But I think a lot of where it comes from is sort of like there's a lot of mean girl concept within like the gay community.
Yes.
And it's funny because last episode y'all called me mean. Whatever. I'm not a mean girl though. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
There's a huge difference.
That's a huge bitch.
That's a huge bitch. That's a huge difference. But for me, like there is a lot of like, why are you being mean for the sake of being mean? Like stop being ugly.
When we say mean girl, like that's like you're mean. The meanness is like their personality.
Right.
Like
that's the only thing you have to contribute to the conversation.
Pretty.
Right.
That's not. There's nothing good about that.
Right.
Like. Right, you're not contributing to the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
If that's the only thing you have to say, find something else to say.
Damn, my whiplash. But literally that.
All right, we're back, and I wanted to spend the last part, because we talked a little bit about standards, and that's the point of the episode. But we've also in previous episodes talked about our red flags and things that we should be looking at when we're dating. So I wanted to have some fun and talk a little bit about those. So do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. Do you think it's a red flag for a guy to say he's not looking for anything serious?
My immediate reaction is yes.
Okay.
But I do think that there's like an age
Okay.
where I think it's okay and when I think it's like a huge red flag.
Okay. When is it a red flag?
If you're over 30.
Okay.
Because I think at that point, of course, everyone should have their fun.
Yeah.
Everyone like do their thing, in your 20s, you're growing up, becoming more mature, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you hit your 30, I'll give a grace period of 5 years.
Okay.
But after that, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You need it's a red flag.
Okay. I think that's better than leading someone on than ghosting them. It's better for people to understand the full picture.
This is true.
Before saying like no, but
I mean, yes. It would be, I don't want someone to be like, what's it called? Like, were they breadcrumbed?
Okay, so the reason why I brought this up is because for all of you all know, it's not out yet, but we were on a show out of California, and they specifically the host had specifically mentioned how he gets breadcrumbs, and I didn't know what that meant. It was the first time I'd heard that term.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But obviously, it's not that hard to figure it out, and I realized that. But there are a lot of men that will just like take breadcrumbs. It's ridiculous to me, especially because most people that I've heard say that are of older than 35.
Yeah. Do you think that's the red flag if they can't recognize when they're getting breadcrumbs versus when they're getting the whole bread slice?
I don't know if it's a red flag. It just leaves you open to a lot of manipulation. So, I mean, I'm not trying to date them, but
that's true.
I can see where it can be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
That's like the opposite of this episode. That's like no standards.
Oh. They're not watching.
Right, they're not watching. They're gonna see it and be like, I don't get any of this. No, I'm kidding. Everybody has their own standards. That's the point of this episode. Is us saying that. Everybody has their things. There are things that Jake would put up with that I absolutely would never put up with. There's things that I put up with that Jake absolutely would never put up with.
Yeah.
And so, that's just everybody has their own things. But
everyone does. But one red flag, or I'm curious, do you think it's a red flag when people are like masked only, femme only?
Look, I don't think you have to be attracted to a certain type of person.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the discourse that you have to do that. But if you go around making that your personality and saying that, then it is extremely homophobic. Yeah. And that's where I think there's an issue with it, because there are a lot of people that will do that and say, oh, you know what? I prefer masks. That's okay. But if you're going to say that,
that's okay. Yeah. No,
but if you're going to say that, just keep it to yourself. It's just weird. It validates a lot of homophobic feelings that people have about the community. Yeah. And it makes people feel sort of validated in that sense.
That's very true as far as like the preference versus like making it your personality, where like you put it on your profile or whatever or whatever, like when you put it on your profile, or like if you like, that's just like blatant kind of like ignorance.
It's just weird. Like you can't tell.
What do you mean?
Like you can't tell if someone is mask
like mask or femme. Yeah, I don't know. Just like knock on the door. I don't know. Thankfully,
I like femme. I like a femboy.
Yeah.
That's why I do the show with you. Yeah.
What other ones you got?
How do you feel about people? What would you do if you were dating someone and they didn't have social media? Is that a red flag?
I don't think it is.
Me either.
I know some people have said it is, but I'm also like, they probably recognize their mental health more than I do.
Yeah.
So that's a green flag for me.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is. Like they know that part.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it comes to find out like that something happened on social media and then they deleted it, then I'm like, why?
Yeah, what is going on that you don't have social media?
Right.
Yeah.
Like if it was your mental health, which it's a full thing. Yeah. But if it's not that, then.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always dated people who were social online.
That's true.
And now I'm married to someone who is
online. Yes.
So
get that check.
Yeah.
What do you think about? Do you think it's a red flag if you like within the gay community, like dividing the check as far as like a restaurant. Do you think
No.
no, it's not a red flag?
I don't
Or
think it's a
no,
red
it is
flag.
a red flag?
When I was dating, I always paid for it because it depends. If I was asked out, I would pay for it. And if not, then
If you were doing the asking, you would pay for it, or
Yes.
if you okay.
yes.
Yeah.
But
Which,
if I was
okay.
asked out, I'd always offer like, hey, let's pay 50-50. And
Okay. Yeah. I agree with that.
I paid a check and then like left.
What do you
Like went to the restroom, paid the check and left. And is that ghosting?
Damn.
That is ghosting, right?
That's a red flag.
Is that ghosting?
Yes. Because you like, I'm assuming you blocked them afterwards.
No, I didn't. But he looked nothing like his pictures. But then also knew.
Okay, what was on the check though?
Huh?
What was on the check?
What do you mean?
Like, you had all the 3 courses already?
No, yeah, we just had dinner.
But you stayed
It was Chili's, so it wasn't that expensive.
not 2 for 20.
That should have been my first sign.
He reckoned.
I love a good Chili's though.
I do too.
I can have me a
The
time
little
at Chili's.
dipper, 3 little. What are they called?
Yeah, the 3 for 3. Is that what it's called?
No, the 3 jippers or.
I don't know. You eat more than I do.
Big bag. Big bag.
But no, I've done that. That's happened before too. And I also stopped talking to somebody because they weren't registered to vote.
I think that's a green flag that you have.
Is
Like
it weird that I looked that up though? Like I went into the voter registration of Harris County and like put in their last name and their address
What prompted you to do that? I'm
because I
curious.
know I have access to it. I mean, everybody has access to it.
Oh, so you didn't? It wasn't
I
because
was
like
like,
you
let
had
me
a
just
conversation.
No, I'm just like, let me just make sure that this is a certain thing I can look for. And he wasn't registered to vote. So I just like stopped talking to him. I didn't ghost him. I just told him it wasn't going to work out.
Did you tell him why?
No,
Oh,
no, because I didn't want him to register to vote because that happened.
why?
Now looking back, I probably should have.
You should. Yeah, you definitely.
It was
should've.
2016 too. Probably would have been a
Bitch.
decided vote.
The one vote.
Yeah, he wasn't registered to vote, so I stopped talking to him.
I agree with that. The route you went was a little interesting
Why?
to me because I feel like I don't
Oh,
think
Mr. Transparent, you would have brought it up.
yeah. No, like I would have more so like asked like if it was around the time in 2016 if we were obviously like that.
I was
time
so bitter.
happening.
It was 2017. It was right after the election.
Oh, got it.
I was so bitter that
So
I didn't
you
have time for it.
Wanted to.
I didn't have time for
That makes a little bit.
I
more
didn't have
sense.
time for people who were like that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you didn't vote. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But I think for me, if it was around the time of like a voting season, I'd be like, are you voting?
No,
did.
it was right after the election.
Got it. I wonder, was I don't remember if I was registered to vote when I first started dating my husband.
There's a red flag.
I remember.
It's
No, I
very
think
rare
I
that I enjoy people dragging you, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. In case you ever wanted someone to tell you about yourself, go look at you talking about. I wasn't political.
I never used to be political.
I wasn't political.
I voted.
Yeah.
No, I was because it was 2012, so I voted
Okay.
for Obama.
Okay.
My first ever time. The first time I was ever
Mine
able to
too.
vote. Yeah.
Mine too.
So I was registered to vote at that point. But could you date someone that didn't go to the gym?
I couldn't date someone who wasn't aware of their physical health.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
when I started dating my husband, he didn't go to the gym. Now he does as we gotten older, but also I wasn't as active in the gym. And so as we both got older, we became much more aware of our physical health. And so
Yeah.
that I can do. But if you have no awareness of your physical health at all, then can't do it.
Yeah. I remember when we were first dating, my husband and I, that was one of the things that would bother me that he wasn't like active in the gym and everything.
Yeah, but it wasn't a red flag.
It wasn't, but I would tell him about it.
Yeah, we call him
I'd be
fat.
like, no.
How would you tell him about it? I just didn't.
No, I would just be like, "Do you want to go to the gym?" Or like, it started off with like, "Do you want to come with me?"
Wow.
We were in college, and I was already at that point.
He's like, no, I'm watching Housewives.
and that, and like, or like just like partying and like drinking and all that, because like I think that
See, now we go to the gym and then we party and drink.
exactly. We're like Planet Fitness with like the pizza afterwards.
Right. Right.
Yeah, take them out. They're not sponsoring either.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I remember being kind of like annoyed that he wasn't as, because I was at that point I was already running a lot. I would run practically every day. I would go to the gym at school and all of that, and he wouldn't. And I think This is very toxic of me, and I can't believe I'm going to admit it. But
Say it, girl. We'll put it right on social media for you.
That controlling side of me before therapy and all of that. I was like, oh, you should do it too.
Why is that bad?
I don't know if it was, but
it didn't stop you from the relationship.
No, I remember there was arguments when we were first dating. Like, I was like, do you want to come with me? Or like, hey, I remember specifically telling him one time, I was like, I would like for you to be,
Skinny?
No. No, he was always skinnier.
He was always skinny. Yeah,
He was always skinnier than me. But it was more of like, I would like for you to be aware of your health. It was more of a health thing for me.
Was it? For you.
It was more of a mental health thing for me.
Yeah, at the time. It still is. It still is. No, but I'm saying it's so much I mean this. We're joking, but I mean this seriously.
Yes,
like
no,
it's so much intertwined with your body image issues.
Yes.
And so like that's what I'm wondering about, like that sort of overlap. But yeah. My husband, he picked it up on his own and then just started doing it. And then I was like, you know what? It's okay. And now he motivates me to go to the gym. He wakes me up at 5:00 every morning.
Oh, I love that.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
That's new.
I feel like
hopefully we'll stick it. The show's coming out. Last year I was on a go, and then the show came out and went into full
show mode.
Something.
Social media mode.
It was something. My brain was. We talked about it earlier. How my brain was just not having it. My stress levels were really high. But I went to the gym today to prove a point to myself. But
I didn't even ask you why, because I know you usually don't go. You go 4 times during the week, and then the weekends you rest.
Well, I didn't because I had a doctor's appointment on Thursday.
Oh, got it. Okay,
and so I couldn't go.
That's where the switch came.
And so I was taking 2 days off because yesterday I was still exhausted. I've been in this sort of diet program, not this diet, but this like a strict sort of cutting for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, you were so good about that too.
So yeah, I've been hitting the gym really hard, so that's why I didn't go to the gym. But
you went today. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of you.
But I like people who like. So for me, I've been telling myself for the show, I have these hard standards. We went all over the place today. Standards are
they're different for everybody too.
They're different for everybody. Yeah. They're at work. I used to have really high standards, but I don't have them anymore.
Oh, wow. I'm curious. Really?
Like the Joker talks about this. How you're like a dog that's like chasing the mailman, and then when he gets the mailman, he like doesn't know what to do. That's where I reached the pinnacle, and not that I don't want to keep growing, and not that I don't have, but when I got this job, the job that I have now, and you knew me before I had this job, and I have now, I gained so much freedom and happiness that it's not worth chasing the job for anymore.
Got it. Yeah. And
I mean, like, we're good.
You're still doing we're good out of the fucking park with what you do.
We're good, but that's not my focus anymore because there's so much freedom and things that I gained over these last few years that I wouldn't trade for the world.
Oh, I want to get there. I mean, I just want to like literally just be nice to myself. Mine was
COVID because everything was when we were in COVID, just the standards I had on myself and like the work that you're supposed to put in and things are not gonna be normal and you have to act differently. I would work from the moment that I woke up to the moment I went to sleep during COVID. That was a solid like 2.5 years, which is exhausting. It was from 2020 until about my wedding.
Oh.
So when I knew you, I was still I will never forget because this is how hard I am. I used to be with myself in work. Like I remember you called me and I didn't answer. And do you remember you had a blowout?
Oh, yes.
Can you imagine me doing that now? Like not answering the phone? And like not dropping everything and going to where you are? Because by the time I had called you back, we were still too new in the friendship that you calling should have been a huge red flag. Like I should have been like, something is wrong.
Something's up. Yeah.
Something's wrong. And I didn't answer the phone. I called you back. I think like 2 hours. When I called you back, you were already with your in-laws, I think.
Yeah.
They had gone to go pick you up.
Had picked me up.
But you were like, sorry, like this is why I called. And I was like now, can you imagine that happening?
I cannot.
I would drop everything. Like that's just that was the freedom that I was gaining. That's the freedom I was like looking for and what I wanted. And so now my standards have switched to freedom and the ability, flexibility.
Yeah.
Flexibility, freedom, and just being in a good headspace where I feel comfortable being more than my job.
Yeah. Because we all are. We all need to remember that. I need to remember that too. So when I'm watching this, when I'm editing this, I need to remember that. All right, so now we're going to roll into our Don't Piss Me Off segment. And for anyone that's watching for the very first time, this is the segment that we talk about something that pisses us off, usually about the topic at hand, but it can stray from time to time. But today we are talking about things that piss us off about standards. So do you have one? Or you want to go? Or you want me to go?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So I really don't like when people have standards, but they only apply to ugly people. And not people that I consider ugly, but people that they consider ugly. Because I don't like when people don't acknowledge pretty privilege. You know what I mean? As an example, right? We had an experience recently where like we had to adjust for somebody, right? And it was an inconvenience. But instead of us like getting upset about it, the pretty privilege set in and we were like, it's okay. My point is that if you have standards, it should apply to everybody. And I think I'm just getting really tired of people not acknowledging pretty privilege. It's happening so much in the gay community that I'm like, because if you don't acknowledge pretty privilege, it means you're not self-aware. And I want people to be more self-aware of the way that they're treated in certain situations because of
the pretty privilege.
Right.
But also don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, but I don't think they know.
Do you think?
I know some people that do take advantage of it.
Do I?
No, because I think you're beautiful.
I wanted to ask that specifically.
I'm the one that told you had pretty privilege. But I don't think you take advantage of it because you think you're ugly.
Gert. Fucking Gert.
You're not going to put that in, right? I'm just like wanting to explain myself. Okay, put it in then. Put it in then. But I think
you're right though, because I think it's good because I don't know if I'm put this in, but I think it's good because like when we talked about it, like when we did something to adjust to somebody, we acknowledged it. And we were just like, yeah, but
we still allowed it.
But I think we would also.
It wasn't bad. We weren't allowing ourselves to be taken advantage of.
It was that.
Yeah.
Like we knew like they didn't cross a line.
No, absolutely not.
And I think that's when we would have like been like, okay, yeah, no, like let's not do that, or let's not do whatever we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But it's when people take advantage of it that's kind of like frustrating.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it in action actually.
I have sometimes. I think it's people don't realize that. I've had friends who've experienced it. I have friends that experience the
standards,
or someone they're dating that doesn't acknowledge their own pretty privilege, and they're like, "What do you mean you weren't able to do this?" Or in certain situations, they were handled in a certain way.
At them,
yeah.
At them,
I'll tell you after. She watches the show, but so she'll know who I'm talking about.
Oh, it's a girl.
Yeah, she's not dating this person anymore. Thank God. But
I think I know who you're talking about.
Now she knows exactly who I'm talking about because I said thank God. But yeah, do you have standards? I have a question. Do you have standards for your friends? As in the people they date?
Oh, the people that they date.
I feel like you're really nice to your friends, like in general. Like
no, I don't think because for me it's always at the end of the day like if they love them, okay, sure. If that person is mean to me though, or like mean to them,
right?
That's where I have like a problem with it.
Have you?
I don't think I've had to have that. I'm trying to think. There was one time where someone told me about something that their partner had told them. And it made me so upset. And I was like, I don't like that person anymore.
Don't tell me. I've told my friends, do not tell me when you're being mistreated, especially if you're not going to leave that man. Because I will hold a grudge.
Right.
And I will have something to say about that. If you're telling me it's because of a reason. Yeah. I used to do that, but I would tell people because I want them to know so that I'm accountable for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know
what
I mean?
You as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And maybe that they were doing that too, but I was just like,
yeah.
I'm going to be like, I was very protective of that person and, life happened the way it was supposed to happen at the end of the day. But that's the only time I can remember where I was like, no.
I pulled a friend's boyfriend aside one time because of the way that he was being with her and was like, okay. I was like, come here.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get used to this. You know who this is? You know who this is too, right?
I think I do.
I was like, you're going to have to get used to this.
Yeah.
This person is a rock star.
Yeah.
And your insecurities need to go under the table.
Yep.
And I think that was the last conversation I had with him. He's gone now.
Yes, halfway.
He's out. She's going to call me and be like, what the hell? Why are you telling this story? But he was literally acting like a child, like at an event because she was getting attention.
Absolutely.
And I was like, come here. We don't
talk about machismo.
I don't know where you're from, but where I'm from, we don't do this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that actually happened.
Wow. I feel like that's like we need to have another machismo episode that talks about like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as gay individuals, we are breaking that because we like.
There's a lot of machismo in the gay community, though.
No, there is, but I feel like we don't see gender like that. So it's easier to spot. What am I trying to say? Like,
what's your favorite song? When you're dancing in the club, but don't say the song.
What's your favorite
But what's
song?
your favorite song?
So hum it.
So am I gonna say it or no? Well, she gotta sing it, don't she?
Anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, but no.
But-
with my friends, I have really high standards too, and most of my friends
Yeah.
know not to tell me anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, don't tell me, and I don't tell my friends certain things, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want them to, even you, when things are happening to me, whether it be in relationships or life.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you when I want you to hold me accountable, because if not, if you're not ready to hear that, like I tell my friends all the time, don't tell me something if you're not ready for me to give my opinion.
That's yeah. I feel like I have the same as it relates to dating specifically for my friends. Like, I want to make sure, like, if they're in love and all that, and if that's good, I'm good.
Do you have as high standards for me, like for the way that I'm treated?
Like you specifically?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I do too for you, but very different than your own. Of course.
Explain. Wait, I think I got lost.
Like, like for you, what's your favorite song? For you, I've told you this. I don't like the way you treat yourself.
Yes.
And so that's what I mean. Like, I have very different standards. And you're like, I love the way I treat myself.
I don't. But it's funny because, like, when you...
I get pissed.
Yes. And you
Really mad.
There's also... There's a comfort in that. I don't know why.
Yeah, because someone's on your side.
Yeah. But also, like, when you've recently told me, like, you were having anxiety, I wanted to take that away from you.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Mine's not normal, though. You don't understand what I'm saying, though?
But I think
Mine isn't, what word am I looking for? Mine isn't naturally occurring and happening often.
Oh, your anxiety.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about, like, the way, yes.
No. Natural's not the right word. I apologize for that. That was not the right word.
It's very, wow.
I know. No, but you know what I mean. It's not naturally occurring.
Constant. Yeah.
So that's why it was.
Yeah.
But I have really high standards for all of my friends and the way that they're treated.
I have it
which is why if someone says something to y'all and I'm like, who are they
Let's
talking
go.
to? Who are they talking to?
Yeah. I have it probably most for you.
Why?
Outside of Roger. I think because we're so close.
Oh.
Like, it's Roger and then, like, you. Like, as far as my friends.
Yeah. The good thing is that it was just one time. We talked about this last season. There was one time where I was going through something personally and I told you, and we had to, like, not record for a little bit. Remember? Like, you bubbled,
Yes.
you boiled up, and I was like, I'd never seen that anger in you. And I'm like, what is wrong? And you're like,
I do remember. Yep.
and then the way that you said it, it was really comforting. Again, back to the point, you said, I'm good. But it wasn't like I'm about to cry. It was like, leave me alone. I'm
like,
good.
I need this moment.
I'm like, now you're making it about yourself. No, I'm kidding. No, I knew exactly what you meant in that moment.
Yeah.
It's comforting.
Yeah. Well, for me, don't piss me off. If we go out to eat with a group of friends, don't split the bill evenly if we did not eat evenly. Like,
Yeah, but you always eat the most. Jake, you didn't have to order the salsa and chips and the mozzarella sticks. Did you have to order both? Do we do that? I feel like we do that.
You are not wrong.
I feel like we do that.
Again, we've done it when we know we've eaten like an equal amount.
Right.
If I know,
I
like,
split it with y'all, but that's just being us three.
no, usually I'll be like, okay, here's a third. If the bill's 100,
You ain't slick.
it's 34.
Right. Right.
But no, because I've been in situations where I'm like, it's funny because, like, I think I did eat the most, and I got a deal.
It just was weird though.
But it also feels unfair.
Yeah.
Like, just that unfair part of it all, like, just doesn't sit well with me, even though I did eat the most.
I don't think restaurants make it easy. Right.
No,
they're
especially
not
if they're like, oh, we only split checks up to 3 people.
What's the
or
point in
3
that?
cards. Time. I think it's like the time it takes to, like, split
because
the
you're
bill
still
and all
getting
that
the
stuff.
same tip if they tip like me, not like you.
They're still getting the same tip.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. You wanted to spend some time today just having a kiki, right? We hadn't been taking some time to just have a conversation and be around each other, and we've been prepping a lot and getting the show the way it needs to be. But what do you know about that, Picasso? The gays that are watching will understand that reference.
Yes.
What does Picasso does? What does he do? He paints. So anyway, thank you everybody. We'll see you next week when we have a special guest here with us.
Yes.
And yeah, y'all have a great week.
Bye.